My name is Karl Herrup. I'm one of the founding directors of the Brain Health Institute. My particular area of interest is in Alzheimer's and other neurodegenerative diseases. My own research is involved with the biology behind the death of neurons. So there's a whole series of biological questions about how you form neurons, how you generate them in the right numbers, how you get them to be the right shape, how you make them project to the right targets. But the problem I'm interested in is after you do all that, how do you keep them alive? They can no longer divide, so they can't be replaced. So their survival is of paramount importance. And one of the ways to study survival is to study the various mechanisms that can trigger the death of neurons. Well, the Brain Health Institute was conceived almost 5 years ago now, and it has many purposes, all of which intersect with each other and many of which overlap considerably. One of the sort of local goals is to try and bring together under a single umbrella all the various neuroscience activities going on at Rutgers University. It's a very broad group of neuroscientists, very active and very deep in a number of different areas. We felt that, especially as a university, that we had a particular responsibility for incorporating education into the very structure, the very fiber of the BHI. And we have envisioned that in many ways, from talking about outreach and resource and providing information and resources to our legislators and pharmaceutical partners, to having opportunities within the BHI to train the next generation of scientists, be they graduate students or postdocs, in the techniques and the philosophy of translational research. And I think when this whole enterprise is fully established, it will be highly sought out as a place to do graduate work, a place to do a postdoctoral fellowship, precisely because I think it captures a very modern view of the field and will provide the sort of background and training to these individuals that will make them hugely competitive in the marketplace that they'll be facing as they mature. We come together at various times with various meetings. We share ideas, we share strategies, and out of that effort came a realization that we wanted to build on the core strengths that were actually here already and to use them in a way that brought renewed and enhanced focus on specific diseases. And so to do that, we picked originally 3 diseases. We picked Alzheimer's because neurodegenerative disease research is strong here. We picked autism because not just at Rutgers but in New Jersey there's a strong tradition of supportive autism research. And we picked auditory aging because it is a unique problem and there's great depth here at the university in research that looks at these problems. As these concepts developed and as we talked to more and more people and more colleagues got engaged in the discussion, we realized that we were missing an opportunity, and so we added schizophrenia as a focal area, which allowed us to bring in the skills and talents of Linda Brustowitz, who's now one of the directors of the BHI. And so now instead of a 3-legged stool, we had a 4-legged stool. It's still very much within the concept of the BHI and in fact in many ways highlights what we like about the BHI, which is that it's very fluid, it's very dynamic, and as new challenges and opportunities arise, we can alter its structure. There is a long path from the basic biological insight to a pill or a liquid that improves the lives of someone, of people suffering from a given disease. I think a direct analogy would be the concept of a bucket brigade, where you take that initial observation, you put it in a bucket, and you hand it to the next person in the line who picks up the bucket, adds or subtracts to that, passes it to the next person in line. And as the bucket passes from hand to hand, there comes a point where within the university we run out of hands but we're not at the end of the pathway that we need to cover. And it's ill-defined, but there comes a point where the most efficient and the most productive way to proceed is to hand the bucket to industry, to let them take the process and do what they do best. So here at the university, I feel that our mission is scholarship, our mission is research. We're very good at the early stages of the process. The goal that I have is to get people to think broadly, to not look to medicine so much for the insights, but look to biology and mature that biology to the point where medicine looks to us for new ways of tackling old problems. I think we underestimate the complexity of some of these diseases. I know when I read in the popular press about any of the diseases we talked about, auditory aging, Alzheimer's disease, autism, schizophrenia, I'm constantly frustrated because I know that the diseases are hugely complicated, and often when it's talked about in the press, for good reasons and bad, it tends to be oversimplified. I want the people that I'm working with to just embrace the complexity and to find new ways of looking at old data to really move this in a way that's much more productive.